Superchargers Podcast. SDOC LA. We own the coast.
Sup, Bolt fam? Hey, shout out to Derwin James, baby, getting that payday. Highest paid safety in the NFL. $57 million guaranteed. Total contract value of $75,600,000. That's a lot of bread, but I think he's totally worth it. I think it was a good signing. I think we need to lock him up. I'm happy we didn't end up, because I heard a lot of Eagle fans talking about we're going to trade him. A lot of my friends who are Eagle fans are hitting me up asking me about Derwin James recently, because of the whole A.J. Brown rumors. And basically, I guess the Chargers plane was seen over there in Philly by a few people, and that brings more A.J. Brown speculation, where they were there trying to, get A.J. Brown. Were they talking to him? And I think maybe Derwin James was on the table and they said, nah, which I'm happy about. I didn't want to trade Derwin James for A.J. Brown. I feel like that's giving up too much. I was telling a lot of these Eagle fans, I was like, look, no, Derwin James is legit. This guy's been on the team for a while. He's been a staple. He's been through the transition. He was in the Costa Mesa practice facility, and then he came up here to El Segundo too. So he's been through he's been through the start of the LA Chargers. We drafted him in like 2018, and it sucks because the game's changed. So the safety position is not as valuable because of the rules changes. But he's an impact on our player, and he's a leader and a veteran, and we don't want to get rid of him. And but about Keenan Allen, I want A.J. Brown though. I'm okay with us bringing Keenan Allen back, but I don't know. The same camp who is pro Keenan Allen was also the pro Brandon Staley crowd. I feel like maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just feel like that wouldn't be the right move to bring Keenan back. I feel like that's not the worst thing, but I'd rather get A.J. Brown, or I'd rather upgrade that position. I'm down to bring Keenan Allen back, but I feel like we just need to add that other playmaker on top of that. And I really hope we try to get something with A.J. Brown. I don't want it to be Derwin James or a big piece like that. Because I was telling these Eagles fans, dude, I was like, that no, he's a game wrecker, and that's what they all wanted. They're like, oh, let's get Derwin James. I heard it, and we'll see. Hopefully, we get somebody soon, because I want to get I still feel like we need one more piece. I love the Njoku signing. I feel like we just need that one more weapon. And if we bring Keenan Allen back, I think that's better than nothing. I think that's what we're end up going to probably do. I feel like there's a good chance of that, or maybe Stephon Diggs. I don't know. He's still available. I just feel like Keenan's good. I just feel like he's getting a little too old to be that number one guy. I feel like he's just a complimentary piece at this stage in his career, which is no disrespect. I just feel like, it's like LeBron. It's like he's that third option, I feel like that's what we need to, Keenan Allen needs to be like that third option now in his stage of career. And I think we need Quentin number 2. We need Lad McConkey in the slot. And I feel like we just need that number one guy. And I feel like that's all we're missing. And I love that new guy out of Mississippi State, Brendan Thompson. But I feel like we just didn't need to upgrade that receiver position. And, all about Herbert missing practice, I feel like, that's not the best look, but I feel like that's not the end of the world either. I feel like, it wasn't the best thing, but it was made such a big deal of. I'm sorry. The guys on PFT, Mike Florio and Chris Sims, Phil Sims' kid, and he's kind of a nepo kid, at least in the media space. I don't know about football. I feel like football maybe earned his own, but as a backup, or he's a starter for a short period of time there at Tampa, but come on. I feel like that was just made so much more than it really was. A lot of reaching.
Maybe he's just had enough of Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You've got two quirky guys that, when you consider Justin Herbert's overall vibe, we interviewed him at the scouting combine back in February of 2020, right before all hell broke loose with the pandemic. And he's very chill. And I couldn't take Harbaugh and McDaniel. together, I'd want to strangle both of them. There aren't many people that fall into that category for me, but the ones that do, they drive me freaking crazy. And I think that if I had to be around Harbaugh and McDaniel all the time, I would want to kill them. And I could see Justin Herbert getting to the point where he would say, I just need a day off. I need a break from these two.
Yeah, a lot of reaching. I just feel like it didn't need to be to that level. It wasn't that serious. I just feel like it really wasn't that serious. And yeah, I feel like it was just made more than it was. It was a voluntary practice. He was on tour. I feel like they could have looked into that more. I feel like they really didn't do their due diligence. I feel like they're just trying to make up a story. Mike Florio definitely has a beef with Coach Harbaugh and McDaniels. I don't know what he did. They might have dissed him. Because you know how Harbaugh was in San Francisco with the media. He wasn't the most friendly. So I feel like maybe, he rubbed him the wrong way, through the media hallways or so, through passing. Maybe he, gave him the wrong impression, but definitely has a grudge against those two, or definitely doesn't like those two, And yeah, Mike Florio's a nobody. I feel like he's just trying to make a story, get some ratings, Because I don't know how much people don't really tune into PFT like that. I'm sorry, it's not Dan Patrick. It's people don't tune into Mike Florio's not a household name, And I think he's been trying to. I think he's really smart. Got him some ratings, but I covered it, but hacky. And it was just like it was a mess. People hate the Chargers. A lot of media people really try to go after them, and use them for clicks, because I guess now with him and Madison Beer, I guess they generate some more clicks, and more fanfare, more celebrity, more headlines. But yeah, I just feel like all of that was just blown out of proportion. Seriously, Chris Sims and Mike Florio, geez, get out of here. I also got to talk about that Raider guy, because there's more. Joe Morey, that Jabba the Hutt, that Raider fan. Oh, I'm so sick of this freaking guy. I can't wait till week 2. Can't wait till week 2. Yeah, screw that Jabba the Hutt, Joe Morey, stupid Raider fan. 0 Super Bowl. Bro, will you get out of here? 2002 and 1984, Joe. What a fucking playoff game. These new slides, I'll bring these up right here. They're pretty dope. Like these cream ones. Pretty dope. I might cop these too. Like in the new slides that came out, these new Nike cream ones. Recommend them. They're cool. So yeah, we'll see where things go. I'm waiting for training camp. Waiting for practices already been starting. Those voluntary ones. Herbert's been missing that people have been making a big deal about, but hopefully we get a big signing soon. I'm hoping it's something made of that AJ Brown stuff. Herbert will be back soon. I don't think he's holding out for a contract. I don't think Madison Beer. I don't think that's a big deal either. I think that's all getting made more of a deal. I think it's fine. I think he's just on tour. I don't think he really wants to be there either. I think he's just supporting. He'd probably rather be at practice, but I think he's just there. Madison Beer probably asked him to be. Help promote this tour with me. Come on tour with me for a little bit. So, all in all, everything's looking good. I think this is gonna be a good little, it's gonna be a good season, dude. I like the tight ends too. Love the Njoku Gadsden matchup. And I heard the reporter. I'll bring this up too. They're too similar. That's okay. They could, like you said, we can't have good players. They're similar, but that's all right. We need more of those. 2 receiving tight ends. Like, I don't think we need a blocking tight end. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Maybe that reporter made it. What's his face? Daniel Popper asked a good question. Like there's these 2 receiving tight ends. Are they too similar? I'll play the clip.
The athleticism and the catch radius and the speed, they're very similar. in pass catching and route running.
So they're similar players then, in
Yeah.
terms of what they're going to bring. So how do you sort of envision them together then, if the skill sets are similar?
Yeah. Like we always look at that, they can't have enough good players. And end sentence. And can't have enough good players and can't have enough good players. Stop sentence.
I appreciate it.
I know. I'm growing, trying to learn.
He's right. They are too similar, but I agree with Harbaugh. Like, we can't have enough good players. We might need to add a block. Daniel Popper might have a point. We might need to add a blocking tight end, or we might add a depth. We'll see later in the season, but I feel like it's good we have these good tight ends. I think that's, there's nothing wrong with that. And, yeah, I'm just excited. Can't wait till training camp, practice starts. This is going to be a lot of good stuff going on. Be excited. I feel like, if we bring Keenan Allen back, that's okay. I don't think it's it's going to kill our season. I think we do need to upgrade that, though. I think if we bring Keenan Allen back, we still need to add another piece. I'm cool bringing Keenan back. Let's just add another piece. I don't think it's that. We have the money. I know we have the cap space for that. So, they might be holding out. They might be waiting until next season. They might be just trying to. They don't want to make a splash. Free agency signing at that position, but. Our team was in Philly. I know they were talking to him. I feel like all that was over at Derwin James, and I feel like Derwin James was on the board. I feel like they didn't want to do it, and that's why I think this contract came out. I think it was just they were in Philly, and I know they need a safety in Philadelphia. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens coming up in this and later in these next couple of weeks. Hopefully, they get a signing. I know they're going to make some more moves. It's not over, and yeah, it's exciting, guys. Bolt up.